It's both substance and symbol. Obama, as a son of Africa, brings great expectations with him and the potential to have a new relationship with Africa. Too frequently in the past, we've had one-dimensional relationships with the continent. The United States has viewed Africa from the context of a pawn in the Cold War, a source of terrorism against the United States. Too frequently in the past, we have empowered big men in Africa who have professed a commitment to democracy and respect for human rights and open societies, but in fact have adopted the same sort of authoritarian policies in the past. And so Obama has the opportunity to start afresh. And for me, that means recognizing that America has real national interests in Africa. We have interests in relieving suffering on a continent that has 15 million HIV victims under the age of 15, a continent where 43% of the people live on less than $1 a day, a continent where half of the children are actually susceptible to growth stunting. But it also means recognizing that the United States has economic interests on the continent that are best pursued by growth and development throughout Africa. Areas including natural resources, including energy, but also development of markets for American products and opportunities for American investment. I think in general, President Bush was relatively well received on the continent. He developed new programs for trade and investment, building on the Clinton initiatives like the African Growth and Opportunity Act, which has created tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of jobs in Africa. He expanded HIV/AIDS initiatives in a number of places. He developed a program called the Millennium Challenge Account, which rewards African and other countries for adopting good economic policies, and in general expanded assistance in some pretty impressive ways. And so what is especially important for Africans themselves to do is to create the infrastructure, both physical and governmental, the assurances that resources are going to be well used to address corruption and questions of transparency, to create good governance so that economic resources flowing into the continent have some assurance of being well used, and to create a sense of partnership. The Africans in 2000 developed a program called the African New Economic Policy, the acronym being NEPAD, which opened up the door to a new relationship between foreign investors, foreign donors, and African leaders themselves that hasn't been developed, unfortunately, over the last decade. But under an Obama administration, there will be a willing partner there. I think President Obama will build on those initiatives. And so I really am not anticipating a backlash or a set of unusual expectations. I think people understand that President Obama will be President of the United States and not the chairman of the African Union. It's clear that in addition to these sort of thematic type issues, a new administration is going to have to directly address some of the major conflicts that occur on the continent. We're going to have to come up with new ideas and fresh approaches to situations like Sudan and Somalia, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, northern Uganda, and of course Zimbabwe. But at the same time, a new president has the opportunity to step back and to review in a systematic way what our approach to the continent has been. There are a couple of key principles that he needs to apply in that context. One is that institutions matter more than individuals. Too frequently in the past, the Clinton and Bush administrations in particular have empowered African big men who have professed a commitment to democracy, respect for human rights, and economic development and transparency. And we've essentially given them our proxies. Similarly, it's very important for everything we do on the continent as Americans to be partnerships. We have the African Union, which is taking very seriously these initiatives, the NEPAD program. The World Bank has active development and relief programs going in Africa. The United Nations has tens of thousands of peacekeepers and an increasingly active peace-building commission to help post-conflict reconstruction on the continent. And so the notion that America has to do this alone is a remnant of the past. We tend to say in this business that Obama or any African American is first of all an American, second of all an African American, but it is also true that people who have their roots in Africa, who understand the problems of that continent, who have a natural affinity for developments on the continent, have a capability to interject themselves into the dialogue in a fresh way. Colin Powell, Condi Rice have all had that capacity. That is not to say that Mugabe, for example, is going to go soft on Obama or all of a sudden hear criticism from Obama and say, the scales have fallen from my eyes and I can see. By no means is this going to be easy. And indeed, there are a number of places where Obama will be far more American than African. One of the areas that the Bush administration has, in my mind, unfortunately overemphasized is the militarization of the fight against terrorism. That said, Obama is going to have to pay attention to the potential for terrorist threats that arise from Africa, and in some cases is going to have to take actions that are not going to be very popular on the continent. He will be criticized for this, but at the same time, there is a natural affinity that will help him.